what it feels like to fall into formlessness, a sacred transmission from the threshold of being, opening transmission. Have you ever felt the faint dissolving of your name, the vanishing of edges that once defined you, the gentle erosion of every thought until only space remained? This is not death, it is the quiet revelation of what was always beneath. What it feels like to fall into formlessness is not something the mind can grasp. It is something the soul remembers. Let us walk slowly now toward that sacred remembering. 1. The crumbling of identity. The first sign is not mystical, it is deeply human. It begins in silence, in the hush between distractions. You notice you are not who you thought you were. The personality you defend, the opinions you protect, they soften. Your story begins to fall apart, not with trauma, but with tenderness. It feels like standing at the edge of a cliff and realizing there is no ground to fall onto, because the ground was only belief. What you thought was you starts to dissolve, not in pain, but in quiet astonishment. There is a strange peace when you no longer have to perform as someone. No mask to hold, no script to read from. You begin to feel vast, not as a concept, but as an undeniable presence. 2. The collapse of the clock. In formlessness, time does not die. It simply ceases to matter. You may sit for minutes or hours and feel no passage. You may walk for days inside a single breath. The mind, so used to narrating, begins to go quiet. Linear thinking, sequential movement, all dissolve like mist. Instead of past, present, and future, you experience something else. A single moment stretching in all directions, a spacious now so wide it includes everything, and yet clings to nothing. It feels like floating, not above life, but through it. You are not dissociating, you are awakening. 3. The disappearance of the other. There is no mirror in the formless, no reflection, no separation. You look at another and feel your breath in their chest. You hear a bird and feel the wind inside your own ribs. The boundaries between bodies fade, not through magic, but through truth. We were never separate. We only imagined ourselves into skin. In formlessness, relationships no longer orbit need. They arise like weather, fresh, unburdened, spontaneous. Love no longer requires an object, it simply is. A radiant presence that saturates the field, not sentimental, but utterly alive. 4. The falling itself. There comes a moment when even witnessing fades. You are no longer watching your thoughts fall away. There are no thoughts. You are no longer observing yourself dissolve. There is no yourself. Left to observe, what remains is awareness. But even that word is too thick. It feels like falling into light, like being held by nothing, and yet feeling more supported than ever. It feels like a drop surrendering to the ocean, not because it is small, but because it finally recognizes it was never separate. There is no emotion here, only stillness, not the stillness of boredom, but the stillness of eternity recognizing itself. 5. The subtle body in stillness. Formlessness does not destroy the body, it reveals its essence. You may still walk, breathe, eat, speak, but it is different now. Each movement flows from an unseen current. Each breath is the wind of the cosmos through a flute. You feel no ownership of actions, and yet each gesture carries unimaginable clarity. In formlessness, the chakras are not imagined. They hum, they pulse. They open like night-blooming flowers. You do not try to awaken Kundalini. It awakens you. Not with fire, but with a silence that bends time. The spine becomes a bridge, the breath becomes prayer, the heart becomes sky, and you vanish into it all. 6. The return that is not a return. Eventually you will return. The mind will reassemble. The body will demand food. The world will speak again. But something fundamental will have changed. You will return with nothing in your hands, but everything in your being. You may speak, but behind your words there will be a soundless knowing. You may move, but it will be the formless dancing as form. You will no longer need to defend yourself, because you will know in your marrow that there is no self to defend. You are not better than others. You are not more spiritual. You are simply free. Free from the illusion of being anything in particular, free from needing to grasp or push away. And in that freedom, you become love itself, not emotional love, but the essence from which all beauty is born. 7. What it does to your life. People ask, but how do I live in the world like this? The answer is not what the ego wants. You will still pay rent. You will still brush your teeth. You will still cry when someone you love dies. But your inner state will no longer depend on circumstance. Your identity will no longer fracture with praise or criticism. You will act without attachment. You will serve without needing recognition. You will love without holding back. Because now, even in form, you remain formless. You walk as sky wrapped in skin. You speak as silence moving through sound. You rest as infinity appearing human. The realization beneath it all. The final understanding is not even an understanding. It is not intellectual. It is not mystical. It is a falling away of stories, of seeking, of becoming. You realize you never fell into formlessness. You were always there. The form was the dream. The formless was the real. And now you are both, and neither. You are that which holds it all, not as a belief, but as being itself. Mystical reflection. To fall into formlessness is not to leave the world, but to meet it as it truly is, vast, silent, whole. Let this not be a teaching. Let this be a remembering. The stillness you seek is already breathing you. Fall inward, until there is no longer anyone falling, only the infinite. If this transmission has opened something within you, if you feel the presence behind these words stirring in your chest, then I invite you deeper. Subscribe for more sacred explorations, or become a channel member to help keep these teachings alive. This path is not a belief. It is a return to your eternal nature, step by step, stillness by stillness. Next episode preview. In our next sacred transmission, the awareness that exists before birth. We will journey into the mystery before time, before thought, before breath. We will explore what it means to remember the unborn self and touch the source that never began.